Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the War Diary. On the 373rd day of the war, here are the main highlights of the day at 7:30 p.m. Beirut time. We begin with the situation in southern Lebanon. At approximately 4:30 a.m. on Sunday, peacekeepers stationed in the border village of Ramya reported that 3 platoons of Israeli soldiers accompanied by 2 Merkava tanks forcibly entered the main gate of their UNIFIL post. The United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, issued a strongly worded statement condemning the violation of one of its posts and the restriction of its movements by the Israeli army on Sunday. A 155 caliber heavy artillery shell fell near a Lebanese army vehicle in the Burj al-Malouk area, injuring 3 Lebanese army members. Israeli media reported the capture of a Hezbollah member and the discovery of an underground tunnel allegedly used by Hezbollah members. However, as per Sky News, media sources affiliated with Hezbollah denied the reports, stating that the circulated video was old and not relevant to current events. Fighting escalated near the southern towns of Ramya and Ait al-Shab, with reports of heavy machine gun fire as Israeli forces attempted to advance into Lebanese territory. Meanwhile, an airstrike targeted a center of the Islamic Health Authority in the town of Siddiqeen, resulting in casualties. The marketplace in Nabatieh was targeted by an Israeli strike, leaving the area completely destroyed and reduced to rubble. In the Bekaa region, Israeli warplanes launched strikes on a car near the town of Ali al-Nahri and targeted border crossings with Syria near Hirmel, as well as areas surrounding the town of Arsel. The human toll, as reported by the Lebanese Ministry of Public Health on Saturday, 2,255 people had been killed and 10,524 wounded in Israeli strikes since the start of the war on Lebanon. In response to these attacks, Hezbollah announced retaliatory actions including strikes on the Israeli settlement of Kiryat Shmona, the Zrid base, and the Zarid barracks. Hezbollah also detonated an explosive device against Israeli forces in the Tel al-Ndawar area of Ramya, killing and wounding several Israeli soldiers. Israeli media reported a difficult security incident in southern Lebanon. Helicopters were deployed to evacuate Israeli soldiers to Haifa's Rambam hospital. At least 2 helicopters were seen landing at the hospital. Additionally, Israeli military footage revealed a large explosion in the southern Lebanese town of Dhaira. The clashes during that incident resulted in the death of the deputy commander of Israel's 300 Brigade, along with 2 reserve soldiers. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant announced that Hezbollah has only a third of its medium and short-range missiles left. War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz announced that, and I quote, "The ground operation in Lebanon must continue and be extended until the inhabitants of the north return and no longer have to be evacuated." Israel said that it will not allow Hezbollah to return to the border areas even after the withdrawal of its soldiers. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has called on UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to evacuate UNIFIL peacekeepers from combat zones in Lebanon. He said, and I quote, "The Israeli army has repeatedly asked for this to be done and has been met with repeated refusals, all aimed at providing a human shield for Hezbollah terrorists." End of quote. A speech denounced on Sunday by the Lebanese minister who condemned Benjamin Netanyahu's position, referring to a new Israeli refusal to comply with international law. Pope Francis also called for respect for UNIFIL after at least 5 of its soldiers were wounded in recent days. He called once again for an immediate ceasefire on all fronts and for the pursuit of diplomatic and dialogue channels to achieve peace. I quote, "War is an illusion. It will never bring peace. It will never bring security. It is a defeat for everyone, especially because the parties believe that they are invincible," he said. Meanwhile, the Iraqi foreign minister declared that the extension of the war to Iran and the use of Iraqi airspace as a corridor are totally unacceptable. Moving on to the situation in Gaza, where the Ministry of Health has recorded 42,227 Palestinians killed and 98,464 wounded in Israeli bombardments. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that the Israeli army was dismantling Hamas strongholds in Jabaliyah in the north of the Gaza Strip. On Sunday, an Israeli strike hit Al Bureish camp at Al Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir al-Balah, central Gaza, leaving many wounded. And that's it for today's recap. See you tomorrow for another roundup of the situation. Until then, stay connected on our website www.thisisbeirut.com.lb and on all our social media platforms.